Bad shows. Bad shows never change.
But is Amazon's Fallout a good show or a bad show? Some people may tell you it's the worst thing to ever happen to Fallout. Others say it's the best thing to ever happen to Fallout. But after watching the entire first season with my fatherboard, I can confidently say that this show is okay. It's not a terrible show like She-Hulk, Velma, Witcher Blood Origins, or Kenobi, and it's not really a great show like Arcane, Pantheon, Andor, or Death Note. The anime, not the live-action show, obviously. Because it's a show and not a movie, the effects are clearly lacking in several areas. I've never seen a Fallout world that looks this green before. I guess they didn't have enough deserts to film in. The choreography of the fist fights is some of the worst I've ever seen. No one looks like they're actually punching each other. I also don't like what they did with the power armor. Granted, when the power armor is in a gunfight, it looks awesome. Bullets are just bouncing off of it, as they should. But when someone in a suit of power armor is throwing someone or getting knocked over, the weight doesn't feel right. It's kind of hard to explain. But if you've seen the show, then you definitely know what I mean. It just looks fake. Again, however, this is a TV show and not a movie. So the effects are not going to be what we come to expect from the typical Marvel movie. The old ones, not the newer ones that they're really rushing out. However, I do love what they did with the ghouls. Their regeneration abilities are awesome, and I love that they have to keep taking the Force Human Evolutionary Virus to keep their sanity. Or maybe it was just Jet. I wasn't really paying attention when they named the drug. The main character isn't Mary Sue. She's hopelessly naive at the start, and she gets her ass kicked more than Cora. Then again, this is Amazon and not Disney, so I don't expect them to make their heroines Mary Sue's. Haha, I will eventually buy Amazon! Yeah, good luck with that, Mickey. Unlike the synthetic man, I don't have a problem with the diversity in this show.
I find this even more funny because his kid is mixed race. So his black wife divorced him, and now he plays fucking birthday parties. How black-pilling is that? So in a way, you could almost say this is anti-propaganda, but I still think it's promoting race mixing. But if a modern Marxist rewrote history and added diversity everywhere, we find out her soon-to-be husband is actually a white guy and not ugly. Shocking. But don't worry, they ruined that pretty shortly. It's not like in the original Fallout games, all the characters were white, but there's something uncanny about this whole thing. We'll put it at that.
Native Americans in Europe during 1000 AD doesn't make any sense at all and is absolutely forced diversity. But black people in America during the year 2277 does make perfect sense. Synthetic man, if you're watching this, stop using the term forced diversity. You don't know what it means. However, I do still have some problems with this show that don't have anything to do with special effects. If you've seen my BlackRock video, then you would know that big corporations like Amazon and Disney only pretend to be progressive to get their ESG scores up. In episode 1, the main character's father, a white man, is captured by a brown woman. Golly gee willikers, I wonder if it's going to be revealed that her father, a white man, is evil, and the brown woman is actually a good person. I would give you a spoiler warning for the last episode, but you already know that the POC with a vagina is going to be a good person, and the white man is going to be an evil, greedy capitalist. I don't know what it is with modern movies and TV shows trying their best to make no human with 2 X chromosomes the bad guy. See my video on the problem with modern day female villains if you want to know more. One thing I loved about Fallout New Vegas is that there was no quote-unquote good side. Each side had their own pros and cons. The NCR was a Western democracy that wanted to help people, but they were spread too thin and their taxes were pretty high. Caesar's Legion did a great job protecting caravans that wanted to trade, and they treated women like second-class citizens, which is awesome.
Whoa! Joke! That was a joke!
However, they also legalized slavery, and that's bad. Of course, Mr. House's faction along with Yes Man's faction have their own pros and cons as well. It was a hell of a lot more complicated than the choices in Fallout 3. Do you join the Brotherhood of Steel and not commit a genocide? Or do you join the Enclave and commit a genocide? Tough choice. The reason why I bring this up is because Fallout is at its best when it shows each side decide with their own pros and cons, instead of having a black and white cookie-cutter mentality. In the world of Fallout, it's never made clear who fired the first nuke. It could have been the Chinese communist, the capitalist Americans, space aliens, or another group entirely. This show, decided to answer the question that shouldn't have ever been answered. The reason why this question should never be answered is because your imagination would come up with something more interesting, and no answer would be satisfying. This show, answers the question by saying, rich businessmen did it! To satisfy their shareholders or something. Wow, just wow, this might be the stupidest capitalism is bad argument I've ever heard. If they didn't blow up the world, they would have made even more money. America just invented the power armor. China was about to surrender. There's only one faction in real life that believes a nuclear apocalypse is necessary, and that's post-sadism. It's a kooky faction of communism. They believe that if a nuclear war happened, communism would have the opportunity to rise from the ashes, now that there's no capitalist around to stop them. Don't get me wrong, I hate greedy businessmen as much as the next robot, but the top 0.01% does need the poor more than the poor needs them. I got so many comments under my AI art video that eventually through AI, almost no one will have a job and end up homeless. The thing is, if 99% of people are homeless on the street, then who are Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, and Jeff Bezos gonna sell to? Mr. House now has less people to sell his robots to, thanks to this nuclear Armageddon that he helped orchestrate. I believe that capitalism should be criticized, but saying that rich people would blow up the world to satisfy their shareholders is stupid. Capitalist and communist almost never get along, but when the fascists came knocking, they worked together to defeat the Reich. Now why am I bringing up fascist? It's because what the board of businessmen did in Fallout literally makes them all individually worse than Hitler. 6 million Jews is less than all the Jews. These guys collectively killed 6 billion people at least, and they did it for so little gain that they lost several trillions of dollars over the course of 2 centuries. Remember that really deep line from Mr. House about, if you want to know the fate of democracy, look out the windows? Well, it turns out he launched the nuke himself. Democracy wasn't to blame, it was capitalism. I don't know how modern day writers can have egos so big that they try to answer unanswerable questions with something so stupid. It turns out that the woman who kidnapped the main character's father was searching for the scientist's head that held the key of cold fusion, making energy free for everyone. This is a common Marxist talking point, whether it's solar panels or other renewables, or Nikola Tesla's idea for free energy. Socialists believe that capitalists have access to unlimited free energy, but they are keeping it under lock and key so we don't know about it. I'm not a nuclear physicist, so I can't speak on cold fusion, but solar panels, along with other renewables, don't collect enough energy to run a modern day society. And Nikola Tesla's invention would have only worked if the Earth was a solid object with no tectonic plates. There are state capitalist societies that would be absolutely interested in giving their population free energy, but they don't because they can't. You may try to argue against the points that I raised in this video, but can you look me in the eye and tell me that Jeff Bezos believes the message being presented in this show? Keep in mind, this show is on Amazon Prime, which is owned by IRL Lex Luthor, aka Jeff Bezos. That's right everyone, it's another show from a giant corporation about how capitalism is bad, even though there's no one who benefits more from capitalism than Jeff Bezos and Mickey Mouse. Jeff Bezos wasn't trying to convince Congress to make the national minimum wage $15 an hour because he's a big fan of Lenin. He did it so it would be harder for small businesses to give him competition. I'm just tired of big corporations saying, "Hey there, comrade, I also like Guevara. Anyways, wanna buy some Guevara merch from me?" The Fallout show is only criticizing capitalism to get their ESG score up, so they will benefit from capitalism more. The very last scene of Season 1 shows the glorious city of New Vegas. I'm worried about what Season 2 will do to the lore of it. But then again, Season 2 of Invincible heard the outcry from the fans, and they fixed the character of Amber. So maybe there's a chance that the creators of the show will realize, hey, maybe making our capitalist villains 1,000 times more genocidal than Hitler was a little too over the top. Anyways, I'm gonna go play the Elden Ring DLC now. See you guys next time. Hey, just before we get to the credits, I just want to make a quick little update. I uploaded another Fallout video about the differences between Andrew Ryan and Mr. House on my old channel. So if you want more Fallout content from me, go check that out. I also uploaded a video about all versions of Hulk versus all versions of Broly on my power scaling channel. But I'm also starting a new job as soon as this video comes out, so my content is gonna slow down. But the budget for my videos is gonna go up, so look forward to that. Anyways, now let's get to the credits.